Alrighty. Why, hello, everybody. This is Eric Virathaler of Virathaler Studios, here once again, back for the next episode of Sit Down by the Fire. I'm here with my next special guest. Please introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? I'm Manuel Lerma, or
Thank you so much.
people know me as Manny. So,
Yeah, well, hey, and definitely not a nickname that I would have thought off the top of my head,
yeah.
but it makes sense, yeah. All right. So, yeah, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here, by
Oh,
the way.
thank you for having me. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Of course, anytime. It certainly is an honor. So, how about that you tell the audience what exactly is it that you do?
Well, let me see. I'm a man of many. Well, no, not really. Let me see. I was gonna say many hats, but I'm an actor, martial artist, stuntman. I like to think that I'm a little bit of funny, so I like to do comedy. So, but
Okay.
I dab in a little bit of all. So, and that. So yeah, that's all. That's pretty much what I do.
Yeah. Well, hey, and I mean that's definitely very exciting. And I mean, considering that you actually are not the first stunt person that's been on my show. Actually, not too long ago, I actually did get Christopher Durand on, who actually
Ooh,
was Michael Myers, like in Halloween H2O.
nice.
So yeah. So I guess that you should feel honored, knowing that you are now the second person like who does things like that on my show. So
Right. And I forgot fight choreographer, top one there. So I
nice,
also do that.
nice. So yeah, so out of curiosity, what exactly was it that that got you to want to start doing stunts?
What's crazy about that I actually started by, I would say, accident. So I studied martial arts since the age of 13, which is I started with Shaolin Kung Fu, and let me see, I'm probably up until one day his director was looking for a martial artist because I guess he just started out and he was looking for some martial artists, and a friend of mine gave me a call and he goes, "Hey, I have a friend. He's a director, and he wants to put martial arts on the screen." And I told him about you. So, and by this time, I'm just like, I'm just waking up. I had a party the day before, so I'm just like, what are you talking about? I was like, what's going on? And all I said was like, yeah, okay, I'll show up. I'll be there. So me and my kung fu brother, we both go up there, and we introduce ourselves, and he goes, "Oh, so you do kung fu?" He handed me a sword, and I started moving, like the what we call forms. I think they call katas, and he was just like, "Wow, you can really move." So he goes, "Have you ever choreographed a fight scene before?" I said, "Well, we have put fight scenes together, like whenever we're demonstrating, some martial art movements." So, and we ended up choreographing the fight, like a small fight scene, which is still up on YouTube. And that's how I started. That's how I just, and then he just kept calling me, "Hey, would you come on? Would you come on? Would you start choreographing? Would you choreograph? What would you do in this situation?" So I just started using what I know and just start putting it together. And man, I just enjoy it. I love it so much. My teacher put it in us. Whenever we would do demonstrations, he would take us to different places, and we had to demonstrate a lot. So that's how I started. Really, I fell in love with it.
Awesome, yeah, and and then that just really goes to show that sometimes meeting the right people and just getting that right phone call at just the right time, and I mean, it really truly can change our lives, right?
Right, it really can. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and and I mean also on top of that, life is just way too darn short to not go do what you love.
Yeah, that is so true, man. I mean, sometimes I look back and I'm just like, what if I'd have just never went? What would I be doing? Because I've always wanted to do this. I used to watch Jackie Chan movies, Jet Li, Sammo Hung, Jean Claude Van Damme, all of those guys, and it's like that's what I wanted to do as a kid was to be an actor and entertainer and stuff like that. So the fact that I ended up there is just I'm supposed to be there. Supposed
Yeah,
to be there.
exactly, man. And it's just when you actually end up where you want to be, it just makes you feel just so good about yourself.
Oh heck yeah! I love I'm every time I do something, I'm proud, and I'll show it to my teachers because I'm still in contact with my teacher, and I'm like, oh, teacher, look, So yeah, I'm proud.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, certainly. And I mean, you have every right to be proud of yourself. And I can only imagine like just how happy that your friends and family are for you, like, and just how proud that they are of you as well.
Oh yeah. At first, you know what's crazy? At first, people didn't believe me. They were like, I told them I wanted to be an actor. They were like, I guess nobody believes in you until they see you do, something, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, well, hey, I want to do it too. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's hard work. It's not easy. So
Oh, yeah.
you know what I
Certainly.
mean?
But yeah, but a saying that I've been saying a lot is that no one's going to believe in you until you believe in yourself.
Yes, and that's exactly right. If anybody, I tell anybody anything. I mean, believe in yourself first, because no one ever is going to join you. They're going to join you once you've made it or when you're at the top. So believe in yourself, even if you sound crazy. Believe in yourself, no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, even if it makes you feel any better, like from my understanding, from my research, even like some of the big time people, like say Albert Einstein, people actually were saying that he never was going to make it because he wasn't smart enough.
Right,
People even told Walt Disney he wasn't going to make it because he wasn't creative enough, and that's absurd that someone said that to Walt Disney.
right. That's crazy, right? Like,
It is.
and who was it? I forgot who said it the best, but you're not supposed to be who you are. Like Oprah Winfrey had to go through so much before she became Oprah. So you got to go through some stuff. So before you become who you're supposed to be. So I believe in that.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just feel like that we really, really hit it on the nail there. It's just spot on.
Right.
So yeah, one of the things I was saying to you on Facebook, what I find a coincidence is that I never really was much of a stunt person until when I was in a country music video a few
Right.
months ago, and yeah, I was going to be just an extra, but then I was at the right place at the right time, and then the director spotted me and he offered me a bigger role, and I was like, well, it's like, well, of course I want that.
Right.
And yeah, then I had a beer bottle smashed on my head, and I had a full-on fist fight scene. It was my
Nice.
it was my first time ever doing any of that.
Right.
Yeah, and everybody was cheering, and everybody was saying that I did a good job. I was like, well, I guess I have a hidden talent.
Right. Well, see, now you know. Now you can add that to your, resume.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then after taking that, like, it actually kind of makes me want to actually, like, try to learn how to do like all of like the physical
Right.
stunts and all that. So
Yeah. It's a rush. It definitely is a rush. It's something else. It's a wonderful experience. So,
oh, certainly, yeah. So out of curiosity, out of all of these stunts that you did, which was the most dangerous one?
man, you know what? You know what's crazy? The dangerous one. Let me see. And you know what? I don't even have footage of that because that would have been great. There was this one time. There's actually. Oh, you know what? I do have footage of one. The one we were shot up in Dallas, and it was a documentary, like a documentary style kind of a film, and they had a bat with nails sticking out, and the guy was driving in like a Jeep, and he had to swing the bat up, and it barely. There was a couple of times where it just almost nailed me, and I had
Oh,
to do like a flip. Like I wish I could show you the footage, but I had to do a flip, and I had to land on the street. And this is summer. I had to land on the street on the this is like I had to do a flip and land on my side, and I had to do it take after take after take after take and get up, and eventually all the the people that were all around just came up, dude, are you okay? Because that looks so painful. I'm like, no, I'm fine. I can get up, and I did get up and do it again, and yeah, so that's one of them. The other one, we were shooting a fight scene, and the director, there was like this big gap, right? And he goes, how can you get over here to one side to the other side? But in between was like water, and there was pillars going up with the rope, like because there's like a boat place. So I said I can run and I can dive. What we call it tiger diving, but like a combat rope. But I would jump over it, and it was so wide. I mean, it was good. If I miss it by even just a little bit, I would hit face first on one of the poles, and then go down into the water. And I'm not a good swimmer, so.
Oh boy.
But my friend said that when I ran, I jumped up in the air. I was already in the air, and I cleared it. And I don't have that footage. Like that would have been something amazing to show people. I was like, oh, this dude here, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just a real shame that like that none of that footage actually does exist because I definitely would be very curious to see that.
I know, and that's what makes me mad. That like there's this other time, and you know what? And it's bad luck because there was this one time we shot another fight scene, and one of the actors just going over the fight scene, and I guess I don't know exactly what happened. I remember going back, and this was shot in the park where the park had rocks, and I remember I looked back for a second because it was like rock behind me, and by the time I hit my head, I looked back at him. The punch was already was coming, and he nailed me right in the face, and it was just so loud and so real that everybody was like, "Ooh!" And I said, "But we got it on camera, right? We got it on camera." He was like, "No, no, we didn't." I was so mad. I get more mad that we don't get it on camera. If you punch me in the face, that's fine, but make sure we get it on camera and we use that take. So, but
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I can only imagine how mad that you were. It's because that would have made for such a great take.
right, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it's yeah. Those are the ones I remember. They were like, oh man, because I hit the rock in the back of my head, and that was just ouch. Yeah, but those were some of the fun ones, I think.
So, with the rock on your head, did you have to go to the emergency room or anything?
No, 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 not at all. I just walked it off. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm stubborn. I'm stubborn. Even if I'm bleeding or something, I'll be like, no, I'm fine. Get up and do it again. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, hey, I mean, to be fair though, I kind of feel like with the job that you have, like with doing stunts, I kind of feel like that you do need to be really thick-skinned about it.
yeah, I mean, it's you don't get babied a lot. I mean, they're gonna be like, that's what you're here for. You gotta make the actors
Yeah,
look good, and sometimes it's like I said, you sometimes you think about it because you're just like, man, is this really worth it?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's crazy because like the ones that I'm telling you about, I didn't even get paid for. It was just me starting off. Like I was new, I was just starting. I just wanted to get my name out there. I mean, I'm still not famous neither, but I was just out there. Just trying to connect with people and like, oh, hey, this is what I can do, and But no, it's now it's a whole different story. I wish I knew what I knew now, what I know now back then. And apply it. So
Yeah, well, hey, and I mean, to be fair, it would have been nice to have been paid for that, but hey, but it's also good to get that experience into.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's I think that's what I have most is the experience and you know what's crazy? After that, I gradually went into the acting. Like I'm like, no, I can act. I was like, if you put me on, because I never took acting classes or nothing. So
Oh
I would
wow.
I would practice acting while I was there, like when I got in front of the camera, and that gave me a chance to really because I did take theater arts in high school, which my theater arts teacher had so much saw so much potential in me, and he's one of my great mentors actually to this day. Still, we still keep in contact,
Nice.
and and I was just like, I want to give it a shot. I want to act. I want to be a really good actor, and I want to get better and better at it. But I feel like if you don't get better, if you don't get out there and start doing it, even if I suck, hey, just start practicing on it. Put me
Yeah,
in,
yeah,
put me in as an extra, and start working my way up. So that's how.
yeah, yeah,
That's how I got
yeah,
into the thing.
yeah. And I right, and I mean, there's even a lot of actors, a lot like who started off their career like either not getting paid or getting paid very little. Like from what I
Right,
read, when they made the original Halloween, so Nick Castle, like who played Michael Myers in it,
right.
he wasn't paid that very much at all. Like what, like $100 or so dollars.
Right. See that?
And then and then knowing that that is the role that he's most famous for.
Right.
And yeah, and even like as far as like starting as background roles, from what I heard, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon also started off like doing background roles, and then eventually they worked their way up.
I think Michael B. Jordan started the as a background actor too. If I'm correct. I may be wrong, but
I think so. I haven't done research on that, but if it is true, I wouldn't be surprised if I were to be honest.
right. And that was one thing I was just like, man. And then another thing, it was just like I wish I would have started earlier, like in because I wanted to start it when I was probably 16, but I was poor because I remember they had a I don't know what you call them, but back in the day they had them like a I heard it on the radio. They were looking for actors and all that, and this agency was looking for people. And I went up there, and I did the auditions and whatnot, but they wanted $1,000 for the headshots, and I couldn't afford that. I mean, I just couldn't. I didn't have that money, so they just straight up hung up. They just hung up on me. It was just
Oh,
like,
sorry.
and that just kind of crushed me for a while, and so I was just like, man, that's I really wanted to try that back then, but again, it happened later on in life, and the way it was supposed to. So,
Yeah. Well, hey, if it makes you feel any better, it's a lesson that I've learned that failure is your greatest teacher in life.
yeah, I know that now. I wish I would have. I wish I would have seen it that way back then, or even now. I think the older you get, the more you see that now. Like, oh, that
Yeah.
was a lesson. Like, oh, okay, it wasn't as bad as you thought it was.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's because I feel like that sometimes we hype it up in our head much, much worse than it actually was. And I mean, yeah, it was very rude of them, like to just hang up the phone on you.
Right,
But hey, but it doesn't say anything about you. It says a lot more about them. And
right,
$1,000 for headshots. I mean, I never had to pay that much for any of my headshots.
right. No, no. I look at it now. I'm like, that's so crazy. I'm glad. I'm glad because a lot of those, agencies are, maybe you got to do research on, and just again, you got to know somebody to really know what you're doing, and that's crazy. To me, that was crazy. Like $1,000,
Yeah,
man.
that's absurd. Like,
Yeah,
never had to pay that much for headshots. And to be honest with you, maybe it's also a way like for you to grow from that situation.
yeah.
Maybe you dodged a bullet.
Oh yeah, and like I said, wisdom came with all the lessons with everything you go through. And one thing that one director said to me is because I would tell him, "Oh man, how come I didn't get that part or something?" He'll be like, "Kid, it's not what you know, it's who you know."
Yep.
You know what I mean? You could be the most talented martial artist in the world that does all these cool tricks, but it's who you know. So
Yep. Yeah, and I mean that certainly is very true. And I mean, early on in my journey, when I first started, it wasn't until when I met a friend of mine who worked on the Jurassic World movies. And
ooh,
yeah, originally I was going to pursue a career in paleontology, but then I failed that in college, and then I met her. When I met her, I had no idea that she even worked on the Jurassic World movies. And then later on, she revealed to me that she actually did. And I was like, okay, you're not lying to me. It's because she showed me a picture of her on set, like with Chris Pratt.
oh wow,
Then, yeah, and then she was honest with me. She was like, Eric, you would be a lot better at filmmaking than you would be at paleontology. It caught me off guard when I first heard that.
yeah,
And, originally I got pretty defensive about it and I was arguing with her about it. But then what got me to shut up was that so I've been a humongous Jim Carrey fan since I was a kid.
right,
And my friend, Vanessa, who worked on the Jurassic World movies, she actually met him.
right.
And then she actually got me. And then, yeah, and then she threw me a bone. And then she got Jim Carrey to send me a signed picture.
Oh, that is freaking awesome.
Oh man, I was so happy because I've been such a colossal Jim Carrey fan since I
Right.
was a kid, and yeah, that was a dream come true for me. And then it was at that moment I was like, it was at that moment when I realized that she was right. And on
Yeah.
top of that, it was at that moment when I figured out it's not what you know, although there isn't anything wrong with having an education, it
No, not at
definitely
all.
is. Oh yeah, it definitely is who you know. And then that's one of the reasons why I started this podcast, so I can network with as many people as I can. And
Hmm.
yeah, and I definitely have met a lot of people.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Like that really is that you got to meet him. My favorite movie to this day that I can remember seeing was The Mask. To this day, I can watch it, and never get bored of it.
Smokehead.
Yes.
Yeah, and probably my favorite part, it's when Jim Carrey is going through his pockets and he grabs up the condom. He's like,
Oh,
"Sorry, wrong pocket."
yeah. And I like when he pulls out, and that's his wife, the cop's wife,
Yeah,
Margaret. Yeah,
you married her.
yeah, exactly.
Oh gosh, and
uh,
yeah,
I didn't like the part two. I think they try to do a part two. I
for
don't.
the
I think. Yeah, no.
yeah, from what I heard, it they offer like what $50 million to Jim Carrey, but Jim Carrey said no. And then, I mean, to turn down $50 million, wow. I mean, how many people would have turned down that much money?
Man, I'm for real. I'm telling. Man, they can offer me 1 million, bro. I would have done it.
Oh yeah, certainly so. And then yeah, then that's why instead they did Son of the Mask with Jamie Kennedy. It's nothing against Jamie Kennedy, but
Right.
it's universally agreed that's one of the worst movies ever made. And I feel like that movie really hurt Jamie Kennedy's career, and
Oh
that's
yeah, yeah. It did.
yeah. And I haven't seen the movie itself, but I saw the Nostalgia Critic review, and
Right.
oh god, yeah, yeah.
I,
I mean,
yeah.
just seeing that review, I'm like, okay, yeah, that
Yeah. I was like, oh god, no. Yeah. Oh.
yeah. And I mean, for the longest time, Jim Carrey like was just so anti sequel. But then, Jim Carrey finally did Dumb and Dumber 2, and the only movies he really does now like are all of the Sonic films now.
Yeah. 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 Well, he's changed. I think he's changed. Is going in a different direction. But my favorite, I loved him when was it Kick Ass?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was. I loved him in that one. I thought he was so something else. Or he did one when he was serious. What was it? He did a serious one. I think I can't remember the name of it at the top of my head, but it was like a serious role. Like it wasn't no funny. It wasn't. That's gonna bother me now. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Okay. Are you talking about either Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, or are you talking about The Truman Show?
You know what? I have not seen the Truman Show. Believe it or not, I still haven't seen that one.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, I believe that was his first serious role, and yeah, and I mean The Truman Show, yeah, and I mean it's a pretty deep film.
Yeah, and I heard there's so many stories about that the Truman. Like I think that Dave Chappelle touched on it, and and other people that he got so into character on that one. So yeah, he's like I look up to him as an actor as well.
Oh yeah, and I mean honestly, Jim is not only hilarious, but he has said some of the best life advice I have ever heard.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, like one of them is that you can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well should go take a chance at doing what you love.
Mm. You know who else is my favorite is Robin Williams. That
Yeah,
man. When he passed, he passed, I almost cried, like because that's someone I watched all my life.
yeah, and especially with the way as to how he went, like that makes it even worse.
Exactly,
That
and
makes it so much worse. I mean, knowing that something like that could have been prevented.
yeah, and that's what's sad, man. I mean, you have the whole, everybody knows your name, but you still are like the most loneliest person in the world, and just we got to check up on people.
Oh yeah, certainly so. And and that's exactly one of the reasons why that I'm always nice to people is because I don't ever really know what it is that they're going through. And I mean,
Exactly.
even just by me being nice to them, it could literally change their entire world.
I've actually had that, man. I'll usually ask like, "Hey, how's your day?" And a lot of the times they'll be shocked. Sometimes people are shocked that you ask that, and that's what's crazy to me. It's like just a simple "How is your day?" could change somebody's view that day. It can change their mood, and it costs nothing to be kind.
Exactly. Exactly. It's because that, I being not, like making someone else's day, it's really not as overly complicated, like as people say it is. I mean, sometimes you either just got to tell them a funny joke,
Yeah,
or just simply just be kind.
right, exactly. Just costs nothing.
Exactly. Not even a penny.
Right. Oh, so yeah.
So yeah, and so out of all the films that you have done, what would you say is your favorite one that you have done?
Oh man. Oh, you know what? That's a good question. I don't. You stopped me with that one because I've done. You know what's crazy? That I've done some that are, and I don't remember the sometimes, and I sound so, you know, so oh my god. But like I don't remember the names of them because I'll show up a lot of the times. They'll be like, hey, they'll call me last minute, and be like, hey, we need more people. Do you want to come? I'll be like, yeah, I'm on my way. And I'll forget. I'll never get the name. I just show up or do what they ask me to do, and and I'll mingle. And then everywhere I go, I'll make friends, and then I'll forget to ask, "Hey, what is this? The name of the project we're on and stuff." So, man, you know what? The Carter High. I was an extra on Carter High. Yeah,
Okay.
Carter. Yeah, I know Vivica Fox and David Banner was on that one. So.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, I was, and that one, like I said, a friend of mine's called me last minute. Hey, we need more extras. Are you down? I'm like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm down. So I showed up, and I had so much fun. It was so much fun because I met new friends, and I saw Vivica Fox. I was just trying to throw her a heart, and like, hey, call me, But no, she didn't call me. She didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude.
No, but it was fun. It was so much fun. That's one of my favorites because when we went to the red carpet, I got to bring my teacher along, actually too. I brought him to that was one of my first red carpet events that I was able to bring him, and we had such a great time. So.
Oh man, that is so awesome, dude.
Oh yeah, and hopefully there's gonna be more where I want to bring more people, like my brother-in-law, my brothers, my wife. My wife's never been to one, so I definitely want to bring start bringing them and show them, hey, this is what I do.
Nice, dude. That's amazing, man. And yeah, and I mean, I can imagine that also was a moment that you were very proud of.
I really was. I really was because it kind of was surreal to me when I'm up there and I'm standing there. And I'm just like, wow, this is beautiful. Like I was enjoying just taking it in, enjoying the moment, man. And I'm like, you know what? There's gonna be more of this. I'm gonna keep pushing on and keep doing more and do more. Just that's all you can hope for is just keep pushing and keep doing more. But it was a beautiful feeling to be able
Yeah,
to.
yeah, exactly. Like when he said that, it reminds me of what Louis Santer said on my show. Louis Santer actually did play Tigger in the second Winnie the Pooh horror movie. One of the things that he said, one of the things that I asked him was, so what's your advice for actors? And he said, it's like a race. You just got to keep on going.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, it really is. Or keep I would say keep pushing yourself. Like keep studying,
Yep, yep.
keep learning new things. It doesn't matter if you think you're too old. Like I started learning a different martial art. And I just tested last week, and I'm like, man, I'm getting too old to be testing, but I felt good because I'm just like, okay, it's time to pick up something different, pick up something new that I can add to my toolbox. So the next steps is learning different languages, learning dance moves. I want to take dancing, so I can add on there. you
Nice.
know, just keep learning, man. Just again, learn and enjoy life at the same time. It's your life is too short to just be
It
in
is.
one spot and be like, oh man, I wish we'd have done that. I wish I'd have done that. Just do it.
Yeah, basically live without any regrets. And as far as the age thing goes, Tobin Bell, who was Jigsaw in the Saw movies,
Yeah.
he started acting when he was in his 40s, and then he finally made it when he was in his 60s. And then, and then when he did the original Saw, that was when he finally made it in his 60s. And so that
Oh,
right there proves it's not too late. As long as you're still alive, you still have that chance.
exactly. I think Bruce Lee did it when he was. Well, see, hold on. Bruce Lee was acting all his life, really, but he didn't become famous till he was in his 30s. Because that was my issue when I started. I was like, man, I'm too old. Like I was 20 something, 20, closer to my 30. I was in my 30s. I was 30. I'm like, man, that's too old, because I see all these actors are starting when they were 15 or young, and I'm just like, man, I wish I would have started. But I think Samuel L. Jackson started at 40 as well.
Yeah, exactly. And then he made it when he was in his 50s. And honestly, that's the exact same thing that I went through. It's because of when I met that girl who worked on Jurassic World. I was 29 at that time.
Right.
And then, when I failed that, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life now. And then, and then she was blunt with me. And then
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like that I'm too old because I was 29. And then and then I did research about like Boris Karloff. I mean,
Right.
Boris Karloff, who was Frankenstein, he didn't finally make it until he was in his 40s. And then, Tobin Bell and all these other people. So I was like, okay, so maybe it's not too late for me after all.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Just get out there and do it. Because
Exactly.
you never know. That might be your chance.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, nobody ever wants a missed opportunity.
Exactly. Just do it. Do it.
Just do it.
Come on, do it. Come on.
No, no.
Uh,
But yeah, so out of all genre movies, what would you say is your favorite genre?
mm, dude, it's actually action. Well, of course, no, duh, right? Action or comedy. This is my comedy is actually. You know what? I would say comedy.
Okay.
Comedy. I love to laugh. I love to. I love to. You know, the comedy side of it because it actually I feel like comedy is harder than because when you're doing fight scenes, you already know the 1, 2, 3, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But comedy, you don't know the person's reaction. You don't know if that joke is, it's gonna stick, or you don't know, now and then the era that we're in, you don't know who you're going to offend.
Yeah.
So now you got to go back and apologize and be like, oh, I didn't mean to say this, and if you gotta do that, then it's not funny anymore. So
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, there are some people who justifiably get offended by some jokes, but there's some it's like, okay, you blew that way out of proportion.
yeah, like calm down, just Hakuna Yatatis, it's not that serious. That's just, but yeah, no, I think again, it's comedy is supposed to make you think and laugh and
Exactly.
it's like my favorite comedian would be Dio Hughley because I love how his takes on the politics and how he's very intelligent and how he's funny. To me, he's funny. Uh, I did like Kevin Hart. I thought he was funny too. Gabriel Iglesias,
Yeah,
George
yeah, yeah.
Lopez. Those guys. Those are the Cedric the Entertainer was another good one.
Uh-huh, yeah, yeah.
Cat Williams. Can't forget about Cat and Dave Chappelle.
Uh-huh.
So yeah,
Certainly.
like I said, the Wayans brothers. I
Uh-huh,
can't.
yeah.
That's where I thought me and my brother used to watch the Wayans brothers. I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you guys remember the show. They used to have a show back in the day. It was called the Wayans brothers.
Uh-huh, yeah.
And I used to watch them, man, and I love it. I still watch it. Actually, they're on HBO. I still watch it to this day. So
Yeah, I believe correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that that show was before they did the original Scary Movie.
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm not entirely sure, but that's at least from my understanding of it.
I think you're right though. I think because it was that. Then they did into that. But I mean, Scary Movie 1 and 2 were cult classics. And I don't know about 3 and the rest because they suck. But 1 and 2, no one has been able to do funny movies like that. There's been copies of it, but they're funny.
Yeah, and then afterwards, I know that the Wayne's brothers weren't involved with it, but there was Date Movie, Epic Movie,
Yeah.
Disaster Movie, and yeah, and like some of them, like with Epic Movie, like they were doing Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I'm like, how is that in Epic Movie?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So I mean, again, it's comedy. It's not for everybody. And if you
It's
know,
certainly not. No, yeah, like I have also been a big Beavis and Butthead fan since I was a kid, and I will never forget hearing from so many people how that they thought that show was dumb. They're
yeah,
like, I don't know what the point is, but honestly, Beavis and Butthead is a lot more intelligent than people realize because it's actually supposed to be a commentary like on teen youth.
really, I didn't know that. Uh,
Yeah, well now you do.
yeah, I learned something new every day. But I did love Beavis and Butthead though. Beavis. Yeah, see, I love it. I did watch the Beavis and Butthead movie. What was it?
Well, there are two of them. There is Do America and there's Do the Universe.
I saw Do America. That's funny.
That one was so funny, and
Yeah.
especially during that part, like where Butthead announces on like the intercom,
Yeah.
we're like trying to find a girl with like really big hooters.
I think we all are. we all agree. We're like, yeah, we are.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
But yeah,
That's about it.
and also during that really funny moment where they're at the Catholic Church and that they think that that prayer thing
Yeah.
is like a porta potty.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go. And I'm gonna go watch it now.
Yeah, honestly, after all this talk about that movie and just the show in general, it actually does make me want to go back and rewatch it now.
Do you think like the way things are now, it's different? Because like I saw that somebody said that white chicks, if they made white chicks now with the Wayans brothers, it would never be made because it's so offensive.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. And I mean, knowing back when the original Mickey Mouse cartoon came out, Steamboat Willie, when I was rewatching it and some other people were around me, they were like, "This is animal abuse," and so
Right.
yeah, and so what may not have been offensive at that time may be more offensive now. I mean, heck, going back to Jim Carrey, I've even heard stories about people getting offended by the original Ace Ventura.
Oh yeah, I did hear that too. I'm like, what?
Yeah, and I mean, heck, I've even heard of a story about somebody getting offended by the 2017 Power Rangers.
Oh no, not the Power Rangers. Yeah.
Yeah, like Power Rangers, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, you just really just can't please everybody.
You really can't, man. It's just like that's why do you see if it, again, that's all you can do is do you. You're gonna
Yeah, yeah,
it's easy to piss off everybody.
certainly, yeah. And that's something that I've had to deal with even on my own Facebook. I've had people get overly offended. Like, there was one time I posted a joke that said, "How did I escape Iraq? I ran." And yeah, it was a
Yeah.
pretty clever joke, but only one person got offended. And I'm like, really, dude?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Usually when when people like that, I'm like, they get political, like, hey man, this is not the spot, If you know me, I'm gonna say some stuff like that. So, get over it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, there are some people where you're just walking on eggshells with, and if they're gonna be like that, then honestly, it really truly is best. I like to, you know, move along.
Oh yeah, no, usually, you know what? To be honest, I don't. If people are like that are just like that, I don't come around them at all because it won't work. I mean,
Yeah,
because I like even if we disagree on something, if we have two different views, I'm okay with that. I mean, that's how the world works. We're not going to agree on something, and that's okay.
yeah. Exactly. It's how you respond to the disagreement that matters.
Exactly. So I don't know, man. I think this world sucks now.
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, life's just way too short, like to waste so much time arguing about things that you're never gonna see eye to eye about. So might as well should just agree to disagree,
Exactly. Exactly. I agree with you with that.
which I do appreciate that. And yeah, and I mean, ultimately, eventually, all that arguing, it it will catch up to you, and I mean, it certainly will drain all of your energy.
Right. They will. They will. And there's no point to it, man. I mean, like I said, move on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, are there any dream roles that you have?
Man, you know what? At the moment, I would play anything. Like, I think one of my best friends has said, dude, as long as you're working, like Danny Trejo, like he's always played a bad guy. Because I used to say, oh no, I want to be the hero, but then he would say, nah, bro, as long as you're working, he made a career out of being the bad guy in every movie,
Yeah.
and people love him for that. Like, as long as you're working, everybody wants to be the hero, everybody wants to be the lead, but come on, if you're always the villain and all that, you're always gonna have a job.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, exactly like when I interviewed Sarah Karloff, the daughter of Boris Karloff, one of the things that she said about what her father said about being typecast in all these horror movies is that Boris once said, a typecast actor is a very lucky actor.
Mm-hmm. See, what about you? What is your dream role?
I have a few. Funny that I mentioned Frankenstein because honestly, either playing the Frankenstein monster or the Doctor definitely would be dream roles of mine. I also would love to play Count Dracula.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, which is kind of ironic considering that I wasn't cast in it, but a friend of mine was cast in it. There actually was a vampire movie that actually was made in my area about like a month ago. So yeah, and so I guess that's the closest that I've gotten, even though I didn't get any role on it, but I still went on set anyway, just so I could go network.
Oh, that's awesome. Let me ask you this then: if you were to play Dracula, how would you make it different from every other Dracula? Than everybody that played Dracula.
That's certainly a very, very good question. I feel like I would try to do something like what Heath Ledger did with his Joker, like
Ooh.
trying to mix in all these other incarnations into
Right.
one while also making it my own. I kind of feel like if you play Dracula, it wouldn't be Dracula if you didn't have a Lugosi esque accent,
Right.
because that's the first thing that comes to mind whenever people even hear that name.
Right.
So I would try my best to do the accent. But yeah, doing that Hungarian accent, I mean, it's something that I give Martin Landau huge props for when he played Bela in the Ed Wood movie.
Right.
Doing the accent, it is work.
Oh yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
suck at accents, so I wouldn't even try it.
Yeah, well, maybe a speech therapist or something could
Oh
help.
yeah, yeah, because I get nervous and I'll start stuttering. So yeah. But so I like the Dracula movie. I did like, man, I don't remember. Is it Dracula Story Untold or Untold Story?
I think you're talking about Dracula Untold.
Yeah, Untold. There we go. That one. I thought that was a good movie. I love that movie so far. So
Oh yeah, and yeah, and me and a friend of mine actually saw that in theaters, and I can't believe that was 10 years ago now.
damn, I feel old now. That was 10 years ago.
I also feel old too, and that knowing that Robin Williams died 10 years ago now.
Oh, don't say that to me. Yeah, Lee, that feels just like yesterday.
Yeah, it really does feel like it was just yesterday, and yeah, I mean, time just zooms on by, and then afterwards, we and then got Renfield with Nicolas Cage, and then we also got Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Yeah. Um,
Did you ever see those two?
no, I did not. No. The last thing I saw from Nicolas Cage was probably Ghost Rider. Yeah,
Wow, and I mean Ghost Rider, like that was back in 2007.
yeah. And I didn't. I was just like, okay, I'm done. Yeah, I saw the second one. I was like, yeah, this isn't for me.
Yeah, I only saw the second one once, And to be honest, the only thing that I even remember about it was that there's a scene where he's pissing out fire.
Yeah, yeah, that's the only thought. I thought it was cool, but that's about it.
Other than that, I mean, granted, I only saw it once. That was over 10 years ago. I don't remember anything else about it.
Right. Nah. Uh, I think they should remake it. That's another thing. I want to remake some movies. Like I would want to remake the Three Ninjas. I want to remake Zorro. Remake. What else? I would say Kickboxer, but they already did it, which I wasn't a fan of. But I guess because I'm so used to the classic one.
Right.
So
Well, it's rather interesting you mentioned Zorro because, from my understanding, Zorro actually is in the public domain.
really,
Yeah, but yeah, it's just not the movies with Antonio Banderas. It's just like his first few appearances. So therefore, Zorro, the character itself, is in the public domain.
oh okay.
And honestly, I'm really surprised that not more people have taken advantage of that.
Well, see, and that was the thing. Like when I first started, also like I wanted to be like a, a Hispanic, Mexican that people be like, oh, that's the guy right there, a proud Mexican actor, that people can be, be like, oh, that guy's
Uh,
good, but not just a Mexican actor, I just wanted to be known as a good actor, but make my people proud, be like, because I wanted us to have a hero, so and that's why I'm like, man, Zorro, that's we could do something with that. And we could take a twist on it because I do kung fu, so we can actually add the. I mean, there's so much behind it because in that time there was more going on so there's more we can add to it,
oh
So
yeah, and I mean, well, since Zorro is in the public domain, I mean, if you or someone else want to write if you or someone else that like who writes scripts, wants to turn that into a script legally, you certainly can, as long as it doesn't take from any of the Antonio Banderas movies.
oh yeah, and it'd be awesome if I can get Antonio Banderas to be like the what do you call it, the teacher, the
Yeah,
teacher's
yeah, yeah.
the new Zorro, you know, that would be awesome.
Oh yeah, and I mean, if you did that, it would be a way to pass on the torch.
Exactly, because I think it's time. I think that's something that we can, that would be a good movie. I mean, but it has to be done right. It could be a good movie if it's done right. You
Oh
know.
yeah, certainly so. And yeah, and I mean, I definitely would work on that as a script. I definitely would check out like film grants
Yeah.
just to get it funded, and yeah, and look for investors. And yeah, but yeah, but yeah, I definitely would give that a shot, especially considering nowadays, especially with that Winnie the Pooh horror movie.
Yeah.
It's like nowadays, like that, the big trend now is to take advantage of the public domain, and yeah, and then now finally a lot of big names are going to hit public domain. I saw that Popeye is actually going to go into the public domain in 2025.
Really.
Yeah, Superman and Batman that they're going to go public domain in the 2030s.
Oh, okay. Oh, they dropped the ball with Henry Cavill with Superman.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Dude, to me, he is Superman. Besides Christopher Reeve, I think he is Superman.
Yeah, it's a real shame. I just wish that we could have seen Henry Cavill play Superman just one last time. It would have been nice. Give him a proper swan song, but it is what it is.
Exactly. I like Ben Affleck as Batman as well. I thought he did a good job.
Oh yeah, certainly so. And I mean, people can argue about the movie itself, like that he was in, but yeah, Ben Affleck definitely, in my opinion, and it sounds like that you agree too. Ben Affleck definitely was not the issue.
No, what people don't understand, and Sensei Landon told me it could be a great movie, but it comes down to the editing. You know,
Yep.
some of the fight scenes are can be one of the greatest fight scenes, but it depends how they edit it and how they put it out there, and you have no control over that because it's not your movie; it's how they do it. So,
Certainly, yeah. And I know this from experience. Editing it's very time consuming, and you want to make sure that you understand the software. You also want to make sure you have the right software too.
Exactly. Exactly. See?
Yeah, yeah. Like I tried Adobe Premiere, I tried After Effects. And yeah, it's a lot more complicated than I originally was anticipating.
Right. See, I'm trying to learn all of that now. Like, and that's crazy because every time I was on set, I'm always trying to learn. And I got that from was it Jackie Chan? He said every time when he was choreographing a fight scene, they asked him like, "Oh, hey, what lens do we use?" And he didn't know what they were talking about or what lens to use. And so he kind of like, oh, I should know this. So he made it a point to keep learning. Every time he went there, he would learn about every, like from the audio to the camera. And that's what I want to do. I want to learn every job that's on there. So that way I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. I know the angles and stuff like that. So I definitely want to, learn.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, that's really the best way how you can go about it is to learn.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so so have you ever thought about writing scripts at all?
Actually, yes. I reached out to a good friend of mine's and I said, hey, she's been into plays, she's been in movies, like she's to me, she's a superstar, And I said, can you help me write a script, Because I have so many ideas, and every time I tell people like these ideas that I want to do, they're like, dude, that's funny, or dude, that sounds badass, or this that's a good idea. But I'm not a when it comes to writing, I lack in the writing department, but I want to get better at that. So that's why I reached out to who I thought it was the best writer. So yeah, I just started writing scripts. So
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, if it makes you feel any better, everybody has to start from somewhere.
oh yeah, definitely. It's not as easy as I thought it was going to be because I mean I'm there's still more questions I have, but in order to get smarter, you got to ask questions. But yeah,
Oh yeah, certainly so. And yeah, I mean, never be afraid like to actually ask a question.
I learned that the hard way. You could just it's rather ask a question and be done for a minute than be done for the rest of the time that you're there and not know nothing. Because I used to be afraid of asking and look stupid. Now, no, I'll ask right away.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, it's perfectly okay to say you don't have all of the answers.
Right, exactly. I'll never pretend like I know the answer. I'll be like, no, I'll get back to you. I'll do the
Yeah, and
research
on top of that, nobody likes a know-it-all.
for real. We all know
Oh,
some.
they're difficult to deal with.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, it's like dealing with people like that. I need like a bottle of whiskey.
Oh, I learned my lesson though. Not to show up on set hungover, because man, you
Oh gosh, that would be miserable.
I partied the night before and then go on set. Yeah, it sucks. Especially if you got to do fight scenes, you got to do the same thing over and over. Yeah, it's not fun.
Did the director get mad at you?
No, no, I did my job as I'm supposed to, but I mean, because
Okay,
like,
good.
yeah, no, no, like I'll show up, but I'll be like, man, this sucks. I should have never went out. I should have just stayed home, and but no.
Yeah, well, hey, what matters most is that you learned.
Yeah, I learned my lesson. I was
Yeah,
young and dumb.
yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of us do really dumb stuff when we're younger, and then later on in life, we and then reflect back on it, and we go, man, what was I thinking?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that comes with age. You're just like, man, what was I thinking, man? But
I think that's exactly it. We weren't thinking.
yeah, we were just. I was living for the moment, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Weren't really thinking about the consequences.
Right? Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of times we don't often think about the consequences to our choices.
No, not at all. I mean, we should.
We definitely should, but a lot of times we don't.
you would think we would, right? You would think they like, oh, they would think like, no, no.
No. And then, well, then we have to learn the hard way. And sometimes, there are times in our life where we do have to learn things the really, really hard way.
Right?
Yeah, it's a real shame. So I can see right behind you. I can tell that you're a big Deadpool fan.
Yeah, my little brother got me that one right there, and that Karate Kid right there.
Oh yeah,
That one was we did, and this, and you know what's crazy? That this was the Karate Kid was when it first came out. We were at the red carpet performing, doing a demonstration for on the red carpet because what was it? They were looking for people to perform, to promote the movie, and they hit up through one of my kung fu brothers. They hit us up, and they're like, "Oh, hey, would you guys come down here and perform, some martial arts?" And we were like, "Yeah, hell yeah!" We got to see Jackie, Will Smith, Jane Smith, and it was a hell of an experience. So, looking back at it, it's just like everything was leading towards that path of the filmmaking. So, and this was way before I ever even thought that I was going to be in, doing movies. So I was probably what, 17, 18, I don't know, 20 around
yeah.
there.
Like back when that Karate Kid film came out, like with Jaden Smith, that was back in 2010, and that was almost 15 years ago.
Exactly. And that was, again, it was crazy. It was crazy for us. We were just, I saw Jackie and I pretty much screamed like a little girl. I was like, but everybody ran towards him to get his autograph. And yeah, that one's signed by
Nice,
Jackie.
dude.
Yeah. So if I ever get to meet Jackie, and that's one person I do want to work with is Jackie Chan. But Jackie, Jet Li, Scott Adkins for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I ever, yeah, Scott Adkins is, I have to meet him. Like I have to because I seen Undisputed 2, 3, and 4. I'm a big fan. So
Yeah. Well, so speaking of Scott Adkins, I heard a rumor that he was almost going to be Batman if Batman v Superman. What are your thoughts on that?
you know what? I actually heard about they wanted him. Yeah. I thought that I actually thought that would have worked because I mean he does the real, he's the real deal. He's as
Mhm.
close as we can get to Batman. I mean,
Yeah, and then on top of that, I definitely think that he has that look.
yeah, I think I think Scott Atkins should be more famous than what he is. Like I feel like he's up there. He should be up there.
Oh yeah, certainly so. And yeah, I mean, it's a shame that he didn't get the role, but I mean, heck, Ben Affleck definitely did do a good job. But it still would have been nice to have seen Scott do it.
Oh yeah, I wonder if we're gonna see him in any other superhero movie. So
I mean, it's possible, but I guess as of right now, it's just really hard to know.
would you do any? Would you do a superhero movie?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Which one would you play?
Oh, that's a tough one. I could maybe see myself being Terry McGinnis, like from Batman Beyond, if I
Yeah.
shaved my facial hair.
Yeah.
I could see myself doing Spider Man. I could maybe see myself as Nightwing,
Yeah.
especially if I shaved off the facial hair. I would look
Right.
younger. So
That would be awesome, dude. For real. That would be. I think that what we should start working on that. Put it out there.
yeah, yeah, certainly. I do appreciate that. So yeah, and so I guess same question for you. Would you ever do a superhero, and what superhero would you play?
You know what? I would, but I just don't know which one I would play. Like, I like how they did the Black Panther one, the second one.
Yeah.
I think I could have played that one cool. Um, I don't know, man. I love all the superhero ones. I can't. I love the one you said, the Nightwing one. That would have been something great. Uh, the Green Lantern, I guess. I would.
Yeah.
What else? Yeah, just so I would play anything really, and I can't. I don't want to say specific because I love them all. So Batman.
Yeah, and right, and I mean ultimately, as like as long as you are getting work,
right? As long as I'm getting paid and I'm not, living on the streets or something, I'm okay.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, heck, I mean, better to get paid for it, so that you can pay your bills and all that.
Right? Who's one of your dream actors to work with?
Jim Carrey.
I mean, besides Jim Carrey, then.
Okay, yeah. Oh man, that's the big one. I definitely would love to work with Kane Hodder.
Ooh,
I don't know if you know who that is.
no, that's why I say ooh.
Okay, Kane Hodder. He was Jason in four of the Friday the 13th films.
Oh, okay, okay.
But yeah, I definitely would love to work with Kane Hodder. I definitely am a pretty big horror fan. So yeah,
Really?
I would love to work with him. Who else? Uh, Man, there's so many. I would love to work with Robert England.
Mm,
Do you know who that is?
no.
Robert England is best known for playing Freddy Krueger.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what? I used to love his movies growing up, and I was scared. Yeah.
Yeah, and what I love about those movies, especially the concept, knowing that he kills you in your dreams.
Right. Exactly.
That is just such an awesome concept.
Did you see the? I was on TikTok, and I think that was based on a true, like, on a true event, on one guy. Like, they were saying where they got the story from. I don't know if it's true or not, but like the actual story of the real Freddy Krueger. Like, I'm gonna have to send it to you so you can look at it.
Yeah, matter of fact, I believe that I heard something about that, like where one of the things that inspired Wes Craven, who was the director of the original movie, like to direct it, was was that he heard a story about somebody who refused to go to sleep, and then he was hiding all of his pills inside of his pillow, and then one day like he went to sleep, and then he never woke up, and then when they went into his room, they found all of like these hidden coffee cups, all these hidden sleeping pills inside of his pillow, just so in that way that he could get away with not falling asleep.
Oh
and,
wow!
and then like they found like marks on him or something. Well, like they found like scratch marks on him.
Dang, no, what? That's crazy.
Yeah, and then after that, Weston said, "Man, that sounds like something right out of a movie." And then he turned it into a movie, and the rest is history.
Oh wow, that's what, like I said, inspiration is everywhere. Oh,
Yeah, exactly. And then there's that saying like how art imitates life, and then sometimes it can be the complete opposite.
exactly, exactly. That's crazy. Uh,
Yeah, it is crazy, and especially considering that that was Johnny. I believe that was Johnny Depp's very first movie, and the only reason why that he got cast was because the director's daughter thought that he was hot.
no, hey, it works. I mean, that's how it works sometimes.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah, and so sometimes it's not talent like that'll get you in; it's your
you know,
looks.
I wish I had that problem. Like, oh, I want you in my movie. Oh, because of my talent? No, because you're hot. Yeah. Mine would be, you know what? I would love to work. My first one would be Denzel Washington,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or and The Rock. Those two guys.
Yeah, and from what I heard about Dwayne Johnson, I've heard that he's one of the nicest guys that you will ever meet.
Really? I would think, what if he's just fake nice though? That's what, like, in front of the
I would
camera
sure
he's
hope
nice to
not.
you. I know, right? Because you know how they say never meet your heroes. And what if, like, in front of the camera he's just like, oh hey, what's up, bud? And I thought, when they cut the cameras off, I'd be like, get away from me.
Yeah, I would hope that that's not the case. I mean, a lot of times the never meet your heroes that can be true, unfortunately sometimes, but sometimes I feel like that could be the opposite.
Yeah, true.
I guess it just really depends on who your hero is.
Exactly, exactly. Never follow them blindly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, are there any projects of yours that are coming up?
At the moment, yes, we have a couple of projects like Some of them are filming wise. What others are fight choreography wise. We want to start doing me and my sensei Landon Johnson partner up to do a fight choreography and start teaching like monthly every month. Start teaching actors that want to do like get into the fight scene world and all that stuff, and work with them like that, and work with actors and do some fight choreography, and that way they can show, shop it around and stuff like that. So, uh, you know, that. Uh, but yeah, and we're get back on my podcast as well. I took a break from it. So, but yeah, that's
Yeah. So, what exactly is your podcast called again?
it's called the Canceled Show.
Okay. And what exactly does your podcast entail?
Well, you know what? It's just pretty much it's having a conversation without being offended. Just like I said earlier, it's like me and you can have a different point of view, and that's okay. And it's like I want to hear your side, but if you want to hear my side as well, but we add comedy in there. Again, it's about making fun of it, if or whatever the situation may be. If we disagree on something, again, it's laughter, but it's like we can disagree and still have a conversation. And again, topics get hard, or sometimes like it's like a lot of the times we've had OnlyFans models on there or strippers, but people are like, oh, that's this and that, how they get pervy, but they start telling their stories like how they got there and why they had to do it, and you're just like, man, that's I'm so sorry to hear that, and you start looking at life differently. It's like, well, sometimes not everybody has that choice, and again, a conversation piece, but it's just like you get to say whatever you want without being someone. Oh, you got to apologize. Oh, you can't say that. No, you say what you want, but that's what it's about.
Okay. And is it on Spotify or what?
Yeah, it's on Spotify or YouTube. I mean, any platform that holds, the Apple, I think, as well. Um,
Okay, yeah. But yeah, it's just that when I put this interview up, I definitely want to leave a link to all that. You said it's called what? Sorry.
the Canceled Show. I'll send it to you. I'll send you the link.
Okay, cool. Podcast. Okay, yeah. But yeah, I definitely will be sure to give that a share.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But yeah. Well, I think that about does her. I certainly greatly do appreciate you taking time out of your day to be here. And what would be your advice to actors or just anybody wanting to pursue their dreams of film?
I would say do it. I mean, just make sure you read everything. And make sure you read the contract. Uh,
Ah,
right, because and make sure that you always. I would say if you feel unsafe or something, have somebody with you always, because you never know. That's in any situation. But other than that,
yeah,
learn new skills. Always keep learning. Even if you don't get the part, or if you don't get what you wanted, don't let that stop you, because that wasn't meant for you. The next thing is coming. Something bigger is awaiting for you. So
yeah,
that's
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And rejection is something that people are going to have to deal with when they break into the industry of filmmaking. But it's one of those things where you really need to be resilient about it.
exactly. You're gonna get rejected a lot, and that's okay. Again, like I said, it's you move on to the next thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like every no that you get, it's going to get you that much closer to your yes.
Exactly. And along the lines, you get to make great friends. Like me and you, I feel like we're good friends since we've
Yeah,
been,
yeah, yeah, man, of
since
course.
we've been talking through back before we started, doing this. We were talking back and forth and stuff. So, you make great friends, and some of them turn out to be a blessing. Some of them turn out to help you in the direction that you need to go. And again, it's all a process.
Yeah, and yeah, like when you said meet those friends, all I like to get you in the right direction. That's exactly what happened to me. And what I've learned, people come into your life for a reason. I mean, to think if it wasn't for that friend of mine, like who worked on Jurassic World, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. Like this
Right.
whole entire podcast would have never happened. I never would have met you or anybody else who's been on my podcast. I never would have done that country music video. I never would have done a commercial or all
Yeah.
the other movies that I've done. So yeah, people come into your life for a reason.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and it's cool. It's again, you get to look back at it and you be like, man, we did that, or I done that. And you get to help out. I always say you're gonna help out someone else that was just like you, that was in your shoes, and you get to be able to say, no, this is what you need to do. So everything you go through is not for you, but it's for someone else. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because life is just too darn short.
it really is. It really is.
All right. Well, I will be sure to leave a link for your Instagram page so people can follow you. You also do have an IMDb, right?
I do, but you know what's crazy? That I don't know who updates it. Like I've never made one. Someone's made one for me, I guess. And
Okay.
if you Google actor Manuel Lerma, information about me, like stuff I've been in and stuff like that, pop up, and I don't know who's been doing it, and that's what's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah. Well, that's definitely very nice of them.
Right? But I'm thankful. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, well, thank you, fan.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, I can give that a share, even though that we don't know who's the one editing
Yeah.
it.
Thank you to my two fans.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah.
But yeah, man, we definitely will be sure to keep in touch, and yeah, and I definitely would love to have you back on. And yeah, since I'm a filmmaker myself, I definitely would love to have you in some of my films.
Oh, definitely, man. I'm definitely gonna hit you up, and like I said, we'll see more of each other.
Oh yeah, certainly so. And right, and I mean, heck, we're friends on Facebook, and so yeah, and so we will keep in touch.
You can count on me, man.
And you can count on me as well, man. All right, you have a fantastic night.
You too.